Well, exactly. You know, as we talked about in the opening last night, that was just a huge game, as the first game of that Tampa Bay series was a huge game for reasons. You come home off that trip 6-3, that's outstanding. You come back 5-4, and that's very good.
And when we left on that trip, Baltimore was in first place. They fell on some hard times. Detroit offensively was doing a real good job, and you know how tough it is to beat Tampa in Tampa.
There's the ball, and the count 1-2. Well, that Baltimore series was just donkey backwards. You know.
Yeah, well, you're right about the fact that every game it looked like we should win, we lost, and the game that looked like we'd have a difficult time, we won easily.
That's blowing away in the count 2-2. We did not fare well against these Blue Jays last season. 8 games, they won 7 of them.
They got some guys in this lineup that can really hit.
Better believe it. They got a couple of my favorite young players in this lineup. He gone. No, it's not. Wiley's had a little trouble getting his sign here. Full count on the board. Outfield around to the right. And he walks the leadoff man. That's not good.
Well, especially with Aaron Hill hitting second. Last year, Hill had just an awful year. He got a collision with David Eckstein. He had a concussion. For a while, they didn't know if he'd come back at all. But this year, he's come roaring back. You get it middle in, he'll pull it and he'll pull it for power, but he does have good plate coverage and is a terrific hit and run man. Cito Gaston doesn't mind doing it with this lineup.
Well, these are one of the two guys that I was talking about, Aaron Hill and Adam Lynn. Fun to watch hit. There, well, he says that's a strike. And the count 0-1. Of course, Cito, an outstanding manager, an outstanding man. He's got a couple of World Series rings to prove it. Should be. Now it's bobble kicked by Alexei. And Scutaro sees what's going on. He just moseys on into third. So a perfect double play ball. And that's his first error of the season.
Well, if you're Gavin Floyd, you have to put that out of your mind, and sometimes it's easier said than done. Hill hits this ball awfully hard, but it's right at Ramirez. He compounds it by kicking it into right field, and so runners at the corners, nobody out. Now you start thinking about damage control and getting out of the inning with giving up just the one run.
Well, you just forget about the guy on third. In this situation here, just pitch like there's a man on first and nobody out. Get the hitter, Alex Rios. As he takes ball one, Rios hitting at .247, 1 homer, 11 knocked in. Last year, a .291 home. I'll check that. .291 average, 15 homers and 79 knocked in. There's breaking ball strike and the count 1-1.
Rios hasn't started hitting the ball real well yet, but he is fully capable of doing that. Talking with Cito Gaston before the game, he said that this is the one guy that they'd like to get going because hitting third in the lineup, a lot revolves around him.
Cannot get that one. And the count 1-2.
I know you went down, Hawk, to see Cito before the game. He's one of the better managers that most people don't really know about in this game.
Well, you show me the guys. Good managers don't want to manage. It's like umpires. If you don't notice them,
that's it.
They've done a heck of a job. If you don't notice the manager, he's doing a heck of a job. Good ball. Now he gone. 1 out. Big hook right there.
Well, we told you in the opening that it was going to be warmer tonight and that curveball probably would come to Gavin earlier, and that ball just settles over the inside corner. Wally Bell has no problem with his right arm as he rings him up. Rios tried to turn into that ball, maybe thinking he could catch a part of it with that lead elbow, but not this time.
Here's a tough cookie. Vernon Wells hitting at .257, 3 homers. He's driven in 7. Last year, a .300 hitter with 20 homers and 78. That's going along with some injuries last season.
He's also grounded into 3 double plays this year.
But you know, getting back to the managers, they just want to get their guys playing well and then get the heck out of the way and let them play. That's what good ones do. Now, the other managers, the majority of them, they want to micromanage every pitch, every out, every half inning. And that takes away from having fun if you're a player. As that's trouble. That's in the gap. And that's going to score a pair. So the error is costly. What was a perfect double play ball. And now it is 2-0 Blue Jays.
RBI's 8 and 9 for Vernon Wells. He had a lot of leg problems last year. They certainly welcomed him back in the lineup in the 4th spot, his 5th double of the year. He got a fastball out over the plate. AJ, as you can see, wants it away. This ball, instead of on the corner, it was on the outer third, and Wells rifles it to right center.
And that'll bring up the designated hitter, Adam Lind, hitting at .333 with 3 homers and 14 ribbies. Two nothing Blue Jays here in top of the 1st. If you're just tuning in. And it is howling here at US Cellular Field.
You can see the flags starched. Because the wind swirls here, you never really know if it's going to knock the ball down in one area of the ballpark and take it out of the park in another area.
Watch out. Never gave him the look.
Well, there's not many things more embarrassing than going into a stretch and not looking at the man at second base. Gavin just had a brain cramp, and there's not much you can do about it.
Now, that's where you like to have a mulligan right here to start this thing all over again. Little redo. So Wells picks up his 3rd stolen base in as many attempts, infield in. And the count 1-2.
Nice to see Carlos Quentin back in the lineup, because for a while after he got hit right off his hand, you wondered if he was going to be okay.
Anytime you get hit in the hand like that, those bones are so fragile. And there's a base hit. It is 3-0. Here's the throw. Alexei having a little trouble making contact with the ball.
The ball was thrown right to Ramirez, and he just flat out missed it. So back-to-back 2-base hits. This is a fastball inside. And Lind, who's having a great start to this year. It's his 15th run batted in. Jermaine gets perfectly. Now, they're not going to get Lind at second base anyway, but Alexei's slapping the tag on him without the baseball.
Just goes to show you. Just tuning in, Scutaro walked, and he'll hit a perfect double play ball to Alexei, who booted it for his first error of the year. Then Rio struck out, so that should have been in the inning. Not so. As there's the strike.
Scott Rowland's been healthy this year, and during the course of his career, he's had an awful lot of injuries, shoulder injuries, knee injuries. Played on that turf in Philadelphia for a long time, but when he's been healthy, he's been destructive, and he's healthy this year.
Outfield spread out about equidistant, slightly to the left. People don't realize this is a big man right there. Scott Rowland, 6'4", 250 pounds.
You got to figure he was a tremendous athlete, Hawk, because he was Mr. Basketball in Indiana, and as you know, they take their basketball seriously in Indiana.
As well they should.
But he came up with Philadelphia, played real well for them, then for whatever reason kind of fell out of favor. And one of the guys, the principal in that trade, was Placido Polanco, going back the other way to tell you how good he was thought of.
The 0-2 pitch. 2 down.
Good curveball. That one just disappears. Actually backed up. You can see AJ waiting for it to break. And the ball actually backed up. If you could do that by design instead of happenstance, it'd be a pretty good pitch.
Backup curveball, backup slider. Yeah, that's going to get a lot of guys.
Yeah.
See it spinning one way and breaking the other. Here's Lyle Overbay. Off to a big start at 342, 3 homers and 10 RBIs. Takes first pitch strike. Overbay last year hit 270, 15 homers, and drove in 69.
When he came up with the Arizona Diamondbacks, the critics said that he didn't have enough power to play a corner in the major leagues. He's played pretty well.
That ball hit hard right at Jermaine, makes the catch, but they're going to come up with 3 gift runs. As Gavin Floyd should have been out of the inning, he was not. And after a half inning of play, as Blue Jays 3 and the good guys coming to bat.
Josh Fields hitting second, Carlos Quentin hitting third, Jim Thome the DH fourth, followed by Jermaine Dye, Paul Konerko, AJ Pierzynski, Alexei Ramirez, and Brian Anderson. The U.S. Cellular starting pitcher. There we see Brian Talent. This is just his second start, primarily a bullpenner. As you can see, left-handers kill him, and he gets right-handers out a whole lot better.
Talent, 31 years old, 6'6", 220 pounds. And the numbers on Chris. And the count 2-0.
Talent is not overpowering. He changes speeds. Probably tops out if he gets to 90. That'll be good for him, but he's got to keep the hitter off balance. And he's got a pretty good straight change. One of the reasons why left-handers hit him better than right-handers, he doesn't use it to him too often.
3-0, don't help him out. And here at beautiful U.S. Cellular Field, 330 down the left field line, 335 down the right field line, 375 in the gaps, and 400 straight away center. Just does nip the inside edge. Sox come in hitting at .266 as a club with a 4.26 ERA. And the count goes full. First of a 3-game set, first of a 6-game homestand. Just got a piece of it.
The fastball had a big portion of the plate. Just able to foul it off and keep the at-bat alive. And as you can see, a fastball pretty much right down the middle.
Line shot, base hit by Rolla.
We'll take a look at the Lowe's defense for the Blue Jays. Left to right, Snider, Wells, and Rios. In the infield, Roland, Scutaro, Hill, and Overbay. Rod Barajas behind the plate. And Brian Talent on the hill. We told you he had a lot of trouble with left-hand hitters, and a left-hander started it off with a base hit. And look at Scott Rowland. Tried to make a good first step. Didn't get there, and they're very happy to have Vernon Wells back in their lineup after all the leg problems last year.
Here's Josh Fields. That's in the upper tank right side, so the count 0-1. Josh hitting at .264, a homer. He's driven in 9. Hello, Rainbows.
I think we should go look for that pot of gold. Got to be somewhere.
It's not there. No, I checked it out. It's not there.
Wasn't there?
No.
Might get there later. It might come flying in if this wind keeps up.
Just grab the red shoes as they fly by.
And watch out for the house.
0-2 the count. The first time that Getz, Fields, and the on-deck hitter Carlos Quentin have seen Brian Talent. Also, Ramirez has never faced him.
You would have to believe that that's not his best move, as he leisurely went over to first base just to remind Chris Getz that he's thinking about it.
So the 1-2 pitch. Boy, turned that one over, had a lot of movement, 1 out.
That's one of the reasons why right-handers have had some problems with him. This is a changeup. He throws it in a perfect spot, and he's got Josh well out in front of it.
Carlos Quentin hitting at .259, 7 homers and 14 driven in. Takes it high and wide. Of course, that was a scary moment last night. Anytime one of your players gets hit in the hand with a pitch, not good. And if you miss that last evening, that was in the 8th inning. So the 1-1. That's hot.
Carlos says he just doesn't feel comfortable with any padding on his hand or wrist. I remember a lot of real good hitters, Andres Galarraga for one, Jeff Bagwell for another. They kept breaking their hand and wrist, and they went to a padding. It didn't affect their stroke at all.
And before we show you our picks to click, you at home select yours. Two balls, 2 strikes, 1 out here in the bottom of the first. Bad guys on top, 3-0. 3 gift runs in the top half of this inning. close. Good eye.
Tried to cut that fastball and backdoor him on that one, and you would think with the changeup as his best pitch and a lot of confidence he would see a 3-2 changeup here. That ball was up. Now Guts has to watch the good pickoff move, because Talent might likely go over there. And there's the change.
So with 2 out, let's check out our picks to click. John Walsh, director and crew, going with Brian Anderson, Lisa and Steve going with A.J. Pierzynski, and Jim and Kathy Canatero and we're going to go with Carlos Quint. So here's Tommy. Tommy at 234, 4 homers. He's driven in 10. And that'll do it. The leadoff single by Chris Getz goes for naught. It is still 3-0 Blue Jays. Tail of the tape, 3 gift runs, top of the first. So here in the second, it'll be Barajas, Snider, then back to the top of the order with Marco Scutaro. Barajas hitting at 213, a couple of homers. He's driven in 7.
You got to be careful when you go inside to Barajas, because he's got some surprising power inner portion of the plate.
Last year, 249 hitter with 11 homers and drove in 49. Ball laced into center field. That's going to be a base hit.
So far, Gavin's had some big problems with location with the fastball. He's thrown some pretty good curveballs, but that fastball right down the middle, Barajas takes it right back up the middle. You can see that's center cut.
Here's the 21-year-old outfielder Travis Snider out of Washington. Takes first pitch strike. He's hitting at 270, 3 homers and 9 RBIs. Last year in 73 at bats, hit 301 with a couple of homers.
I watched him in the Arizona Fall League, a former #1 draft choice of these Blue Jays in June 2006. Hawk, this guy's got some tremendous power to all fields. They list him at 6 feet, 235, and he can really drive the ball.
Yeah, that's the reason he was the #1 draft choice. That's up high, and the count 2-1. Boy, that wind is really howling. And it's supposed to be windier tomorrow. As a rule, when you come to US Cellular Field and you see the flags blowing from right to left, that means that the ball, as a rule, usually carries better to right because of the swirling effect, and vice versa. And usually when it's blowing in from center, you see the flags blowing in, it usually really carries well to center field. So when it's the way it's blowing tonight, you have no clue. And most center fielders in the American League will tell you when it's windy in this ballpark, it's the toughest wind in the American League to judge.
That's because you look up at the flags and they don't mean anything.
No. If they mean anything, as a rule, it's the opposite. So 1 out.
Yevon does throw a good sinker. That ball just dove out of the zone. It reacted like he might have thrown a changeup. If he can keep that down there, he should be in pretty good shape.
So here is Scutaro. He walked and scored last inning.
I'm expecting that music from the Wizard of Oz here any moment.
Man. Just a short lead by Barajas. And that ball is scalded into left field.
Marco Scutaro getting a chance and making the most of it. There was another fastball that just stayed up. And he hit a rope to left field. So now you got to deal with one of their hottest hitters in Aaron Hill.
He hit the ball hard after Scutaro had walked, if you're just joining us, last inning. But he hit it on the ground right to Alexei, who booted it, then kicked it. Perfect double play ball. They went on to score 3. Breaking ball, strike.
How you doing over there?
Hanging on.
They have to nail us down to the counter here.
You're going to have to go get me a chin strap. Yes, he did. And the count 0-2. One out, 2 on. And the 0-2 pitch to Hopper. Rack him up. Thank you very much. And that will retire the side. A couple of hits. There is 1 left after an inning and a half. 3-0 Blue Jays.
$1 to half off each ticket, depending on the size of your group and the party areas like the fan deck, warning track, or an individual game diamond suite. Place your order today by calling 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com for more details.
And those group and party areas, you got the Bertucci boys as well.
Came up and dropped off some burgers, and we missed those burgers on the road.
You and I both miss those burgers. You know, there's not too many things better than a good burger.
And Bobby and company, including Bruno.
Well, they didn't go on the road with us, so that's all right. Jermaine Dye will lead it off here in the bottom of the second. 3-4-0 for them, 0-1-1 for us. That was a big one. Takes first pitch strike. Jermaine hitting at 345, 4 homers. 10 knocked in. He is 2 for 3 lifetime off Brian Talent. And the 2 hits, both of them left the premises. There's an inside strike call by Wally Bell, and Wally will call that inside strike. We've had, on this last road trip, we only had 1 or 2 umpires that would call the inside strike. The rest of them would not.
And Barajas eased that ball back over the inside corner, so when a catcher does that, he doesn't believe that it's a strike.
The 0-2.
Hawk, when you face a pitcher with a good changeup, everybody says you didn't just try to keep your weight on your back foot, keep your hands back, do anything like that?
Believe me, I tell you, I was probably, if he was left-handed and had a good changeup, as Jermaine is down as out number 1. If he was left-handed and had a good changeup, I was probably 0 for 4. Now, that didn't mean I didn't have a couple of good swings in there that were futile, but
you were going to look for that fastball.
Every pitch.
Well, a lot of hitters do that. In fact, I played with a man who was passed away, the father of Barry Bonds, Bobby Bonds, who was a great hitter. Someone told me that despite the fact that he's been dead for over 5 years, he is still looking for the fastball.
Just like you're still looking for that changeup. Well, you know, the tip that I got the last few years I played that was really beneficial, as soon as you saw it was a changeup, try to knock the pitcher off the mound. And it really worked.
That would have to keep you back.
Exactly right. As Polly high. It's going to be interesting to see this win tonight and how these outfielders, the communication between the outfielders tonight is going to be very important. But if you can train yourself, which it took a little while to do, is as soon as you see the changeup, you just try to knock him right off the mound with a line shot. It kept you back, kept you closed, and you had a chance.
When I threw anything off speed to a hitter, it's one thing to move his foot forward, but when I saw him keep his hands back, I knew I had some big problems. Yes,
you do. And when you pitched to Thurman Munson and you saw him keep his hands back, you knew you had some problems. Now, if his hands were drifting with him, because that's inside to AJ, then you could get him.
He was the kind of hitter, I mean, I looked at his numbers one year, Hawk. He hit over 620 some at bats and struck out 35 times.
He was one of the most clutch hitters in the league as well. 2-0. Yeah, that's how we used to gauge Thurman, was throw him the first pitch down and away and see how he approached it. If he just looked at it for 60 feet, 6 inches, you know you had a problem because he was keeping his hands back. 3-0.
See Ramirez on deck, and he'd like to make up for that miscue in the first inning.
There's a strike.
I get a pretty good feeling here, because Talent doesn't throw changeups to left-handers, or does very infrequently, that you're probably going to see a fastball.
And there's ball 4. So the 2-out walk to AJ, and that'll bring up Alexei.
Talent not very happy with himself.
All right, so you know what that statement you just made, though, tells me that was one reason you were a good pitcher is because of the fact you watched the hitter.
Well, I watched to see what his hands were doing, because if I saw him move his hands back after his leg went forward, I knew I was tipping off the off-speed pitch. Then I had to make an adjustment.
There's no question in my mind that you have a lot of pitchers who would perform better if they watch the hitter rather than just focusing on nothing but the catcher's mitt. Now, that ball hit high. Stretch. Snider giving chase, trying to circle the wagons. He does. He stays right with it, makes the catch, and looked like that wind just knocked that ball straight down.
That ball was going out of the ballpark, and the wind held it in.
All right, 3-0 Blue Jays.
/25th, which is tomorrow night at 6:05. It's the White Sox versus these same Blue Jays. Enjoy post-game fireworks presented by Connie's Pizza.
What a nice job by young Travis Snider, staying with that high, deep drive off the bat of Alexi Ramirez. And I think the most surprised person in the ballpark is there's a fair ball by Josh Fields on the first pitch to Alex Rios. I think Alexi thought that ball was way out of here.
Well, on a normal night, it would have been, but the wind just swatted it right back, and Snider was able to make the play.
So that is the third double of the game by the Blue Jays.
Rios gets what looks like a fastball, drives it right down the line. See John Hirschbeck right on the line, motioning into fair territory. That one was fair by about a foot.
And here's the guy who had the first Blue Jay double in the first inning, knocked in a pair, Vernon Wells. Oh, 0-1 the count.
Blue Jays gave Vernon a bundle long term because they wanted to make him the face of the franchise and they wanted to build around him. Now Rios has come up and he's a very good player, and they've got some good youngsters coming after him.
And there's a strike, count 0-2. Well, the Blue Jays also have two guys now that were there when they were one of the most feared franchises in baseball. He's one of them, Cito Gaston. The others, he gone. 4th strikeout. The other is Paul Beeston.
Getting Beeston back was a coup for them.
Yeah.
Good curveball, When you have a guy 0-2, that's exactly what you want to do. That's the wipeout curveball. It's out of the zone. Hitter can't do anything with it. If he goes after it, his best bolt is maybe getting a piece of it to fall it off. Most time there's not. He just goes down on strikes.
Here's young Adam Lind, doubled in a run in the first inning. This guy has got a chance to be a really good hitter. Real good. He is out of Anderson, Indiana, born in Muncie.
Well, there's a lot of hitters that hit off that raised front toe, and a few hitters that turn their foot actually back in. And that's what Lynn does, and probably he's doing it to remind himself to stay back. See him turn it in. It's off that raised front foot. He can hit.
There goes the runner. Good play by Josh Fields on a ball that they're going to run.
Well, Gavin,
certain pitchers, they're going to run.
And Gavin is just falling into a bad habit, and that's looking back only one time. That's in the advanced scouting report. They know that before they come into this series. And when they get anybody who can run, and last year Rios was terrific at it, he just takes off. Gavin's going to have to vary his looks to second base.
That's right to Konerko. One hopper on a breaking pitch. So that's 2 out.
The Blue Jays tonight are not hitting the curveball. They're not hitting the off-speed pitch. They've basically made their evening on mislocated fastballs from Gavin tonight.
Well, that was a problem last evening with Bartolo. Scott Rowland struck out on a curveball. Cannot hold up on that one. And he went.
That curveball tonight is really biting. And because he throws it as hard as he does, you can't pick up the spin. And you get swings like this.
One and one the count to the big man, 6'4", 250 pounds. And there's the 2-out single with a 4-0 ball game.
Run batted in number 7 for Scott Rowland. So the double, the stolen base, and the 2-out single produces a run. Take another look at it. AJ wanted it inside. Gavin got it outside. Rowland took it to left center field.
Overbay lined out hard to Jermaine in right field. There goes the runner. They're just going to run on Gavin and run on Gavin and run on Gavin.
I thought he had it figured out in spring training. When that game against the Dodgers, he used a slide step and enabled AJ to throw out Juan Pierre and Rafael Furcal.
Yeah.
But using that leg kick, AJ literally has no chance whatsoever.
Well, he's better off not even throwing, really. He almost threw that one in the left field and third base when he had no chance. Four nothing bad guys here in the top of the third.
Now they're going to put Overbay on first base and set up the right-handed matchup with Barajas.
That'll be the second walk issued by Gavin. And Barajas took a fastball, singled sharply into center field as Johnny Danks. John Cooper having a little chit-chat down there. Johnny Danks just outstanding on this road trip. Received after that Baltimore game, received just about as many accolades as you could ever want to see an opposing pitcher by the opposition.
Well, and Aubrey Huff, who's been around, says your changeup is in the league with Johan Santana. That's mighty high praise. Then the fact that when he faces him after the All-Star break, he's going up there looking changeup.
Well, he's going to get it. Santana's got one of those. He can tell you it's coming and still not do anything with it. That's when you know it's a good one.
That's just good arm velocity and good release point.
Well, I imagine there were nights that you went out there, you had just superior control and that you had that mindset that you could actually just, if you wanted to, tell a hitter curveball's coming, he couldn't do anything with it.
Well, that was, you know, you get that a few times. Sandy Koufax said he got it 25% of the time where he had his great stuff. And that meant 75% of the time he had to win with less than his best, some degree of less than his best.
Ball hit hard. And that'll do it. The key 2-out RBI single by Rowland. It is 4-0 Toronto. Game 5 in the series shifts back to Beantown as Rookie of the Year Derrick Rose and the Bulls look for a big road win against the Celtics. Coverage starts with Bulls pregame live. Bulls Celtics Game 5 Tuesday night at 5:30 on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.
Had a chance, Hawk, today at lunchtime to see John McDonough and Jay Blunk of the Blackhawks. And certainly wishing them the best. It's down to the best of 3.
That's right.
They got home ice advantage.
Oh, they've done a wonderful job over there as Brian Anderson will lead it off against Brian Talbot. Talbot gains the advantage. 0-1 the count. Brian hitting at .250. Now field bunch just a little bit straight up. And the count 0-2. That ball hit deep into right field. Stretch. Get on back there. Rios at the wall. It's off the top. So Brian will move into second with a leadoff double. Just our second hit.
This is the hitting speed for Brian Anderson. He knows that Talent can't throw the ball by him. He swung through an 86-mile-an-hour fastball, but this time Talent got a changeup up, and it cost him. This almost went out of the ballpark. Rios actually does a nice job not getting trapped too close to the wall. You see him as he rounds off his charge to the wall and able to catch it on a hop and get it back in and hold Brian to a double.
All right, let's scratch out at least one here in this inning as Chris Getz, who singles sharply into left field. And that'll get the job done. They're going to hold Brian now at third. Rios has got to get armed. We got to that ball very quickly.
Well, Rios was among the league leaders in assists last year, but he says, and it's really unusual, that when he gets and throws the ball over the top, his arm hurts. So he throws it actually below 3/4. You look at that throw, and he kind of almost flips it in there instead of staying over the top like most good throwing right fielders. But yet, last year he threw out a bunch of them.
He made several good throws against us in the 8 games that we played him last season. Well, you know, that's not uncommon for an outfielder or pitcher. They get up over the top. That shoulder just kills you.
If you've had any injuries at all, and how about the start that Chris Getz has had to this young season?
He's a good player. He's just solid. He's just a solid player. As here's Josh Fields, struck out his first trip. You ever been out there on that bump and your shoulder was just killing you?
Many times.
That's right.
In fact, I only had one multi-year contract. When you're playing on one-year contracts, you don't want to sit down.
Nice take strike.
Now, I know this isn't going to surprise you because you and I both been around a long time, but when they went to multi-year contracts over the one-year contracts, time on the disabled list went up 400%.
And the count very quickly, 0-2.
If you're playing on a one-year contract, what you do this year impacts what you are going to make next year, and also because of the competition, if you gave up your spot, you weren't too sure if you're going to get it back or not.
It was a no-no to go into the trainer's room.
Yeah, it's true.
Strikeout right there, and there's one out. Talent with 4 punch outs.
And he throws a high fastball. This one up and out of the zone and throws it right by Fields. This is a big at bat because now a double play ground ball gets these Blue Jays out of the inning.
Quinn struck out his first trip. Yeah, those multi-year contracts, not in a salary sense, but in a disabled list sense, it's cost over the years owners a couple of $1 billion.
Well, you take a guy in the first year of a 3-year, and he gets nicked up, and he said, "Look, I got 2 more years, so I'll just take 15 days, get myself very healthy, and come back again." In
the
third
agents
year,
encourage that.
Yeah, third year of a 3-year contract, different story.
Yeah. Well, the agents won't get. Average life of a reliever in the big leagues is 2.5 years, and they're trying to create more shelf life for their client. So they'll tell them, "If you've got a cold, go on a DL. I'm a little out you. Go on a DL." Big hack, and the count 1-2.
Carlos is unhappy with himself because that time he got a very hittable pitch. He fouled it right off Barajas. And got him off the mask, shook him up a little bit, so Wally Bell went out. Not really to talk with Talent because there's not much you can tell him when you're the umpire, but he wanted to give Barajas a chance to get his senses back.
Let me clarify that about the agents. Not all agents, but there are a lot of agents that do that. You got some great ones, you got some bad ones. That's up high.
The first time up in the first inning, when Talent got to 3-2 against Carlos, he threw a straight change. Barajas is looking over in that dugout to see if there's any suggestions from the bench.
Four 4-0 Blue Jays here in the bottom of the third. And what has been really so far an ugly game for our Sox.
They have an opportunity right here to eat into that lead.
Full count. Tomey on deck.
Pitching coach for these Blue Jays is Brad Arnsberg. So my old friend Gene Tennis, the Oakland A's fame for some of those great teams.
Former teammate of mine.
And we played in the Ohio All-Star game in 1965. Of course, I was only 4 years old, but I was a prodigy.
Yeah. One out, full count. And that's ball 4. That will load him up.
Here's a look at Cito Gaston, and one of the things I asked him, Hawk, was he won 2 world championships. Then he got fired, and he interviewed for a number of jobs, and there were a lot of guys that didn't have close to the success that he had. And I asked him how frustrating it got. He said it got so frustrated that there was one team that called, and he said, I'm not coming out for the interview. If you want me to manage, I will. If you want me to interview just to interview, I'm not interested. J.P. Ricciardi said to him, you want to come back? You got that feeling? And he goes, yeah, I got that feeling again. I don't think you could have found a better man for the job in Toronto.
No. Well, if Ozzie hadn't come here, I was hoping that it would have been Cito Gaston.
Just a good, solid baseball man, and you don't have to like your manager, but you have to respect him. And I think his players both like and respect him.
Same way they do Ozzie.
Very similar.
So Tomey, first pitch. Takes it for a strike. He grounded out to second base. And they did not have the big shift on Tomey.
Well, here's the big advantage is they really can't shift.
Now they can.
He does have a big hole on the right side.
And a count 0-2. He's got to cinch it up and hunker down. This would be a not good situation for us to get the leadoff double, then the next man singles, and we can't score.
Well, on even a medium depth fly ball, you got to figure Anderson tags up and scores.
We got to get it first.
Jimmy thought it was inside. He set him up with the off-speed pitch and went to a fastball.
Ball was inside.
Well, again, you see Barajas, Hawk, when he catches it, he immediately takes it back over the inside corner. See it right there. Watch the glove.
He moved that glove a long way.
When a catcher does that, he's telling you that that ball was inside.
So a bad call by Bell. Strikes out Tomey. And here is Jermaine. He struck out his first trip. Yeah, that ball was several inches off that inside corner. Five strikeouts for Talent. Way outside.
We've seen the wind take the ball to right center field. And if you're Jermaine, you're looking at a 2-0 pitch, very much a hitter's count. You figured Talent would try to stay away from it. exactly what he did, and he swung through it, and that ball was off the plate.
Yeah, he swung at a bad pitch right there. That was a pitcher's pitch. Now it's 2-1 instead of 3-0. Stay back, stay back. 23. And he swings at another bad pitch. So the count now is 2-2 with 2 down, and the sacks packed with Sox.
Gallett's thrown 4 straight bad ones to Jermaine, and it's a 2-2 count.
He comes with that changeup a little bit off the plate. He gone. Hard hit, sucked up, and I'm a son of a gun. We get a leadoff double, next man singles, we can't score, and it is still 4-0.
Good looking duck. What Hall of Fame pitcher spent part of his final playing season as a Blue Jay?
First pitch, ball 1 to Travis Snider, who struck out, and that is foul. So the count 1-1.
I think he cracked his bat. You could hear it. And it's going back to get another one. Put a little pine tar on it.
4-6-0 for them, 0-3-1 for us.
Got that one off the end of the bat. Takes a look. Yep. Got to get some new lumber. What size bat you use?
Big. 35-inch, 35 to 40 ounces. According to who was pitching.
They're not using near that heavy a bat these days.
That's fouled away. Fastball pitchers, I use the 40-ounce bat. Sinker slider type guys, I use the lighter bat so you could check it up a little better. He gone. Back to a curveball.
It's been the one pitch that's been consistent for Gavin tonight. He's thrown a terrific curveball. He's gotten hurt with the fastball. Now, if I was a pitcher, I certainly would have wanted that last one. But I'm thinking if you're Travis Snider, you're thinking it's just a touch outside.
You pitchers are all alike, man. Wham, wham, wham.
It's in the vicinity. It's a neighborhood pitch.
No, if the catcher catches it in the air, you want it.
Well, it's in the neighborhood.
Marco Scutaro has walked, singled, and that walk produced a run as he singled again. This guy, Marco Scutaro, is one of those little piranhas. Type players at Ozzie.
I mean, I just don't think you can lay him in a first ball fastball and expect he's going to miss it. And that was a first ball fastball. It was outer third. And he took it right back up the middle. But he's a guy, Hawk, and I think that he's a Chris Getz type player in that he probably plays to 95, 96, 97% of his ability level. You see some guys with great skills, much better skills than Chris Getz or Marco Scutaro. They might play to 60% of their ability level.
Yeah, Scutaro is 5'10". He plays like he's about 6'4" against us. Tries to bunt it. But Hill, he's 0 for 2. He reached on a huge arrow. Perfect double play ball he hit back in the first inning to Alexei. Alexei, who has been errorless this year, booted it and then kicked it. And that was after Scutaro had walks. Now men on first and third, and they came around and scored 3 runs. And we have not been able to do anything off Brian Talent as far as crossing home plate. He's made some good pitches when he had to.
.6'7" Brian Talent, just his second start of the year. And they put Ricky Romero on the disabled list. He was 2-0. But the guy that's really going to hurt him is B.J. Ryan. Yesterday they used Scott Downs. He's another left-hander. And they will use him occasionally to close. But Cito Gaston might not lock himself into one specific closer with Ryan on the disabled list.
Nice block right there by AJ. Well, if you told me that they're going to have to put Sean Markham, Jesse Litch, B.J. Ryan, Dustin McGowan all on the DL, and they're going to be 12-5, I said, Well,
they've gotten some surprising pitching and offense up and down this lineup. But one thing, Hawk, the oddity of this season for them is they haven't played the East yet.
As it sounds like another broken bat. And a nice play right there by Carlos. Stays right with it, makes the catch for out number 2.
Carlos got a great jump on a broken bat, little looper to left field, and was able to take it right off the top of the grass. We'll take a look at it. John Hirschbeck does a nice job of hustling. He's a third base umpire. He went out there to take a look and to make sure that Carlos Quinton did indeed catch it. He did. So the umpires rotated well, and Carlos did a whale of a job.
And it's good to see John. First time we've seen him, John Hirschbeck. Good man. Alex Rios has struck out, and he doubled. Also picked up a stolen base and scored. That was back in the 3rd inning, which seems like a long time ago, but it was last inning.
It does seem like a long time ago because we were knocking at the door last inning. Just couldn't break through.
Two out. 1-1 the count. And when is Marco going to take off? Right now. 2-1 the count.
This is the best pitch to run. You don't see pitch outs called in this count. Rios has some big speed. Last year, 32 stolen bases, a career high, was thrown out just 8 times. So as he looks out at Gavin Floyd, if he chops one in the infield, they're going to have to make sure that they hurry to get him.
Gap out there in left center. Three and one to count to Rios with Vernon Wells on deck. First of a 3-game set, first of a 6-game homestand. 3 with these guys, and then Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 3 with Seattle. There he goes. It's academic. So the third walk as Coop's going to come out.
He's going to talk about Gavin Floyd starting to float with that fastball. He wants him to center his weight over the back foot. That keeps you back. If you stay back, you're going to keep your front side closed. And by not flying open, you're going to be able to get a little better location on the fastball. And Gavin has a tendency to open up a little too soon, meaning you're well out in front, the body doesn't catch up, and you have some problems. So Wally Bell goes out there wanting to know if Don Cooper's had a chat. That fastball way up out of the zone, and Gavin's had all kinds of problems locating the fastball tonight, because his curveball tonight's been good enough for him to win.
Two on, two out. Wells has a 2-run double and a stolen base. He also struck out. Want to know the count to the 30-year-old who signed that big contract a couple of years ago. In excess of $120 million. And the count 2-0.
Vernon had his big year in 03, then hit 272, then 269, then a decent year in 05, hitting 303 before hitting 245, and last year he was hurt.
And the count 3-0. So home plate jumping around on Gavin Floyd with Adam Lynn, the on-deck hitter. There's one. A beautiful but very, very windy evening here in the beautiful city of Chicago. What new? Goes through that one, full count.
Pretty good breaking ball. He chose to throw in 3-1. Up to 74 pitches. This will be his 75th. We're not through the 4th. That was a straight chain.
There go the runners, and he checks it up and takes ball 4. So back-to-back walks that will load him up.
Bullpen starting to work. Jack Hickberg going into pin. Gavin's had big fastball problems, and last thing he wanted to do was walk Vernon Wells to face Adam Lynn.
Lynn, and RBI double in the first. He grounded out to Canerco in the third. Now, this young man is one of the more aggressive hitters in this league. Out of Anderson, Indiana. 1-0 pitch. Big hack.
Gavin can get out of this one. It's going to give the Sox a big lift. If you give up any more right now, the way Tallett's been throwing, got some problems.
And there's a strike. So 1-2. Taking mighty. Ground ball on the curve. Tucked up by Getz, and he does pitch out of it. Not bad, giving up a base hit. Back-to-back walks. Meanwhile, after 3.5, it is still 4-0.
Trivia question. What Hall of Fame pitcher spent part of his final playing season as a Blue Jay? And the answer, Phil Niekro. All of 3 games in 1987.
Nuxie. And what a brother combo they were. God rest his soul, Joe. Also a knuckleball pitcher. As Konerko will lead it off here in the bottom of the 4th, we trail it 4-0. Ball 0 for 1 went out to center field. Takes a fastball right there.
Well, there's still a long way to go, and the big advantage that the Sox do have is that because this is only the 2nd start of the year for Talent, you can't go all that deep into this game.
No. And last inning, we got to him a little bit as far as the pitch count goes. And if you're just joining us, we had a leadoff double last inning by Brian Anderson, almost a home run off the top of the right center field fence, and a single by Getz, and we still couldn't score. Struck out Fields, he walked Quinton, struck out Tomey on a bad pitch, a bad call by the home plate umpire. And then Jermaine hit the ball hard right to the second baseman.
Talent is yet to retire the Sox 1-2-3. So the pitches are starting to pile up.
And that's out of play. So the count 1-2.
.55 pitches so far. That's in 3+ innings.
And down on the farm last night, Charlotte won 7-5. Lance Broadway did not pitch well in that game. Kelvin Jimenez did. There's a one-hopper picked by Rowland. And that's out number 1 as we check out some of our minor league report information. There you see Josh Kroger, 2 for 5 with a homer and 3 RBIs. Aaron Pareda picked up his first victory of the season. Birmingham won that ball game 4-1 at Jacksonville. Brandon Allen, who is a guy who's going to play in the big leagues, he picked up his first homer in the game.
And Pareda struck out a career high 11, and he also will be playing in the major leagues.
Yes, he will. And I think, barring injury, to somebody up here soon.
When you can get it up there 97, 98 miles an hour with your left arm, is the way he throws, you're a pretty valuable guy.
A.J. fouls it back. Also in that game, C.J. Rutherford. He's hitting over 300 now with a big RBI. Jordan Danks went 2 for 4 with a double and a run scored. He scored 13 runs in the 15 games down at Winston-Salem. Nice pick right there. Overbay is a good first baseman.
Well, that was a tremendous play because that looked like it was going to be a double. Overbay with a big smile on his face. He was shading him toward the line. And this is a tough play. Made it look easy and then threw it right to the big target. When you're 6'7", you provide a pretty big target.
Well, Kannapolis lost 2-1 at Greenville last evening. As we're taking a look at it, gave him perfect feed. And here's a name for you to remember out there. Right-handed pitcher named Dexter Carter. Dexter last night went 6 innings. Gave up a run. Had 8 strikeouts. Dexter Carter.
We're going to file that away, along with C.J. Rutherford.
Here's Alexi. He just missed one. High towering drive that when you could just see it knocking the ball down, and a good job by Travis Snider, the young left fielder, to stay with it. Made the catch in deep left field.
At the time, it would have made the score 3-2. Not with this win.
And the count 2-1. And 3 balls and a strike. Yeah, but Carter down at Kannapolis is 1-0 with a 2.35 ERA. Scored 15 in the third. Has 17 strikeouts. Walk 5.
Pretty impressive. Over 3-1 strikeout to walk ratio.
That ball hit back to the middle base hit. That boy, Alexi. So the 2-out single.
We've been watching Ramirez over about the last 3 or 4 games, and we've started to see that stroke get a little more groove. He's more patient than he's been. He's hit the ball hard twice tonight. That time, Talent, as he's been doing to the right-handers, wanted to go upstairs and throw it by him. But for the second time in as many at-bats, Ramirez hits it awfully hard.
That'll bring up Brian Anderson. He doubled leading off last inning. High off the right center field fence. Outfield there straight up, spread out. As that's ball 1 to Bryant.
Well, this should be a pretty good matchup for Bryant because he knows that there's really no way that Talent can throw it by him. If he lays off the face high fastball, he's going to be in good shape.
Hit hard but foul. In that game tomorrow, second of this 3-game set, Mark Burley against Brian Burris. So make your plans to be with us. Good seats available for the rest of this homestand. That's high in right field. That should be a can of corn. As Vernon Wells takes charge, makes the call, has the ball, and we'll go to the 5th trailing by 4.
An autographed Jermaine dyed jersey. Log on to your computer to take a quick survey and you'll become eligible to win this great prize. Survey only takes a few short minutes and your answers are confidential. Log on to whitesox.com/survey during this game. Take our survey. Sign up for a chance to win an autographed Jermaine dyed jersey.
That ball into center field is going to fall for a base hit. So Scott Rowland now 2 for 3 as the ball gets away. And he'll move on to second base. So that didn't help.
Looked like a cut fastball, down and out over the plate. Ryan just doesn't make the play. Got to be single E8.
His first error of the season. So we've had Alexi make that big error in the first inning, his first of the year, and now Anderson. But more importantly, you got a guy out there at second with nobody out. And here's Overbay. He is lined to right. That ball gets away. So now the base hit, the error. The ball back to the screen. And Rowland on third.
AJ with a quick talk. And Gavin Floyd, I believe, wild pitch number 3. AJ tries to backhand that ball, and
he got crossed up a little bit.
I would think so. I think that's what he told him. He was looking for a fastball. Put that glove right there, and then when it was a changeup, instead of turning the glove over, put the glove straight down.
Infield in. As there's a chopper and it's foul. So not a good start to this inning, as it was not a good start in the first inning.
See the glove, and he expects a fastball, but the ball just drops because it's a straight change. And AJ trying to smother it. Can't do anything with it. But that will go as a wild pitch.
Two and one to count to Overbay. Off the end of the bat. Lexi holds the runner. Guns over to first base, so one out. Good pitch. Good, him out in front.
Good straight change to Overbay. And there's no reason with nobody out to run on contact, especially if it's hit toward Ramirez. Of course, a contact play is you run on any type of contact.
Yeah, he did a nice job finishing that one off. Good motion right there.
And good movement.
Yeah. Just floats away. As here's Barajas, who is singled and hit into a 6-4 fielder's choice. Barajas takes strike one. 11 homers, 49 RBIs last year. Curveball. While we have a moment, it's a big White Sox happy birthday to Frank McGovern from Oak Park. Today is 84th birthday. It's from his daughter Kathy, son-in-law Greg, with love. Another curveball. Blocked nicely by AJ, and the count 2-1.
Man at third, you've got to have confidence your catcher is going to be able to smother just about everything. AJ's had a few get by, but not with a runner at third.
And here goes 3 balls in the strike.
Barajas has modeled a few uniforms during the course of his career. Got to the big leagues with Arizona. And spent 3 years with Texas. before going to Philadelphia and now in his second year with Toronto.
That's back to the plate. Got a shot. Nope. So there's an easy gift run. We have given them 4 tonight. 4 gift runs, and they lead at 5-0. Fifth walk issued by Gavin. He was about to throw his 93rd pitch.
That was a fastball that he just threw well wide of the spot, and for some reason, and I don't know what it is, but this is the first time we've seen Gavin Floyd be able to get his changeup over the plate, his curveball over the plate, but have no idea on the fastball with his location.
Well, if you'd have told me he's going to get his changeup over and that curveball the way it's been tonight, I would have said Toronto's in for a long, long evening.
Because normally the fastball is certainly good enough, and nobody really hits his curveball when he throws it over the plate. So Egbert for the second time throwing in the bullpen.
5-0, and 4 of them are gifts. Snider, who has struck out a couple of times, once swinging, once called, had a good pitch to hit right there and just underneath it. Way high. Snider out of Glenwood, Washington. Born in Kirkland. 6 feet, 235 pounds. And there's a base hit on a breaking pitch.
It's one of the few times that Gavin has had his curveball hit for a base hit. Well, here comes Ozzie, and I would think that would be about it.
Yeah, that was a work in progress tonight. Gavin did not have control, any kind of good control whatsoever with his fastball. Plus, his defense really let him down, giving him 4 gift runs. So he departs, and we'll be back.
Game tickets are on sale now. Don't miss your chance to get the best matchups available for, or the best tickets available for April matchups against the Blue Jays and the Mariners. Purchase your 2009 individual game tickets. Call 866-SOX-GAME or visit whitesox.com.
1 out, 2 on. Jack Egbert in relief of Gavin Floyd. He's got Marco Scutaro, who is 2 for 2. He also has walked and scored. Takes ball 1 from the 25-year-old right-hander. Jack, 6'3", 220 pounds, out of Rutherford, New Jersey. And the count 2-0.
5 walks, 5 strikeouts for Gavin Floyd, who just couldn't throw his fastball in the zone, and when he did throw a strike with it, he missed his spot and got hurt.
There's the strike. And the count evens at 2. Nice. Coming back to catch the outside corner. A little tardy right there. But as bad as it was for Gavin tonight, really it should be a 2-0 ball game. Those 3 runs in the first inning should not have crossed home plate. They were gifts.
Well, in that instance, you got a guy who's been sure-handed all year. You can't really do anything about the physical aspect of errors. They happen. The mental mistakes, difficult to live with, but the physical mistakes, they're going to happen to anybody.
As long as you're behind, points tough.
It's true.
Count hangs at 2-2. "33-year-old veteran. He was in an Oakland uniform the last couple of years he was there. He scalded us as well. Scutaro with 4 homers this year already and 10 RBIs. Take your time now. I don't think he knew who he was throwing to.
Well, that should have been an easy double play.
Easy.
And would have been, except for perhaps a little confusion as to who was covering second base. And Getz was close enough. He gives way, and then Ramirez has had a tough time holding on to the baseball tonight. Can't get the throw off.
Now there was that pause, that definite pause right there by Egbert. Well, who's covering? And then again, if that's the case, that's a mental mistake. So here's Aaron Hill, a tough out at the plate. He is 0 for 3 tonight. Reached on that error in the first inning by Alexei. Then he hit into a 6-4-3 double play, and then he was robbed of a base hit on a beautiful catch by Carlos Quinn. And if you miss that catch, poof.
Key, like most good catches, get a great jump. Get a great jump, you got a chance. Carlos did.
There's a strike. Steve, there's only one way you can get a good jump. That's by being into the ball game. And Carlos tonight has struck out and walked, so he's not taking those 2 at bats out there to the outfield with him. Got to play both sides.
It also helps if you can read the angle of the bat. It's easier for a center fielder, but you can tell when a guy's trying to hook the ball. Carlos just happened to get a good jump on it. Now, he's a natural right fielder. That's where he played in college. But playing left field since putting on a White Sox uniform and playing it pretty well.
So 2 out, runners at the corners, and the 2-2 pitch. That could be trouble.
It's just one of those nights where the ball's going to find him. That's a base hit. That would have been a tough play to make. But Alexei is just not hanging on to him. He would have had a shot at first base. You could see it in that picture.
Not much more you can say in that. Just one of those nights for him. Stuff happens.
He's had a tough one.
Yeah. So here's Rios. 6-0. And this has not been a very pretty ball game if you're just tuning in. There's a strike. So the book's closed on Gavin. There's the strike. And the count 0-2. 4 1/3, 6 runs. 5 earned, 9 hits, 6 walks, 5 strikeouts. And that's up high. Two on, two out, the 2-2 pitch. Just off the corner. We have had two perfect double play balls hit. They have not been turned, and it's cost us 5 runs so far.
Toronto came in as a very hot offensive club, and giving them even one extra out in an inning is tough enough. It's hard enough to get 3 when you look up and down this lineup and you look at the numbers in the early going. Well, the Sox defense has been real generous tonight.
Yeah. Egbert. So that play will be made, but again, 2 gift runs across the plate, and it is 6-0. As we get set to go to the bottom of the 5th inning, 6-0. Chris Getz will lead it off. He is 2 for 2. Sharp single to left, and then a single in the hole between first and second. And evens the count at 1. bit of a gap out there in right center field. Rolling even with the bag well off the line at third. And Overbay, that's popped up. Got Rowland staying with it.
Join the Better Than Ever 2009 Sox Pride Club, the official online fan club of the White Sox baseball team. Members will enjoy exclusive ticketing opportunities, a 2009 game day audio subscription, an in-stadium event invite, and much more. Be a card-carrying member of the White Sox, Grand Slam, and Home Run. Memberships also are available now at www.soxprideclub.com.
Josh Fields, who's 0 for 2 tonight, a couple of strikeouts. Big swing by Josh. Yeah, when you have 2 double plays like we've had, for those of you who are just tuning in, we've had 2 perfect double play balls that were not turned. And the result is Toronto, who's been playing extremely well, swinging the bats well, doing exactly what they're supposed to do, taking advantage of it, and coming up with 5 runs on those 2 double play balls that were not turned.
They have a total of 10 hits, and none have left the ballpark.
High in the right field. Rios. Boy, that wind is, since pitch 1, before pitch 1, has just been howling. And supposed to be worse tomorrow.
Tomorrow, that game time is 6:05. So hopefully, Mark Burley will have his best stuff and dispatch these guys rapidly. I know he'll do it rapidly. We have to hope he has his best stuff.
Here's Carlos. Carlos struck out and then he walked. Big hack. Had talent. I mentioned Mark Burley tomorrow night against Brian Burris, and that game, if you can't make it to the ballpark, will be over WGN. Sunday in the finale of this series, Jose Contreras against the good doctor, Roy Halladay, 31-year-old right-hander. And that game will be right back here on Comcast Sportsnet.
You might remember Brian Burris, tomorrow's starter, because he was with Baltimore last year and we faced him.
Talent out of Baton Rouge. Out and around that hooks that one, rolling. That didn't take long. Easy 1, 2, 3 inning, and we'll go to the 6th.
And can't watch your White Sox on Comcast Sportsnet Plus, you can always catch the game on your computer with MLB.tv. The ultimate baseball experience featuring 100 out-of-market games per week live on your computer. And catch those you missed on demand. For details, visit WhiteSox.com, where baseball is always on.
0-1 the count to Vernon Wells. Wells 1 for 2. A 2-run double and a run scored go along with a stolen base back in the first inning. Six, 10-0 for them. 0-4-2 for us. Not good.
Got to give a little credit to Talent because he's thrown high fastballs, even though they're not overpowering. He's thrown it by the Sox hitters and used a good straight change.
Full count. Well, left-handers who can get a changeup over against our club, they usually do well. And it's just not against our club. Left-handers who can get a straight change over against most clubs do well.
There was one of them named Tom Glavine, and I don't know if he's going to be able to pitch anymore because of the arm problems, but he was something.
There's a base hit right back through the middle. So he got well ahead in the count, let him back in the count, and Wells beats him.
For the second time, Wells uses the opposite field. First time a double in the first inning. That scored 2. This time a leadoff base hit.
Yeah, when you get a guy 0-2 or 1-2 in the case of Wells, 1 and 2, can go 3-2. Just flip a coin right there. There's the strike. Adam Lynn, who was 1 for 3, a double, a run knocked in back in the first inning. I know that used to drive. I used to love playing against Baltimore when Earl was a manager. You know, I'd played against him when he was managing in Elmira in the Eastern League, and that was a thing. But just to hear him screaming from that dugout.
Well, the one thing, and he didn't mind if you lost the game, he didn't mind if you got hit. What he did mind was the inability to get the ball over the plate, especially early in the count.
Yeah, I've heard him scream at guys. I mean, just let them have it. They get 0-2, 1-2 and wind up walking somebody. He didn't like that very much. No balls, 2 strikes. "25-year-old. And he shanks that one out into left field, and that's going to be trouble. That's just a flare right there that Jack Edbert gets burned on.
Fourth double of the night. Lynn couldn't have thrown it out there any better. He sliced this ball away from Quentin. Inside out swing. Doesn't get a whole lot of it, but puts it into an unoccupied area.
And here is Scott Rowland. Struck out his first at bat. Then he singled. Knocked in a run, stole a base in the third. He singled and scored last inning. Infield in. This inning, Egbert's not having any problems getting ahead. He's just having problems putting them away. Josh. And that's out number 1.
ball, and Scott Rowland, who used to run very well, in fact, was a consistent stolen base threat. He's had a whole lot of leg injuries, and with that out, they're going to walk over Bay and take their chances with another slow runner, Barajas.
Overbay tonight is 0 for 2. This will be his second walk, his second intentional walk. Yeah, Rowland was one of those guys, if you didn't keep an eye on him, he'd take it.
Early in his career, he had tremendous speed for a guy as big as he was. Still can steal a base. We saw that tonight. He did that back in the third inning. And now he uses all of that craft and guile.
Well, he's got 110 stolen bases in his career. So here's Barajas. He's 1 for 2. Outfield playing in the pull slightly, bit of a gap out there in right center. Fields backing off the line at third. And there's a strike to even the count at 1. Sox looking to turn a double play, something they have missed out on twice tonight. They have turned one by missing out 5 runs as a result. That's in the hole. That's going to score 1, and it's 7-0.
Eighth RBI, second hit of the night, and third time Barajas has been on.
So Travis Snider is 1 for 3. Yeah, this thing got started off bad, and since then gone worse. And there's a base hit. That's going to score 1 more.
Don Cooper coming out. He wants to talk with Jack Egbert. No activity in the bullpen. And you can imagine with score 8-0, he's talking about taking one for the club and getting some people out because nobody's coming in to get him.
Now Wells hit his single hard. Lynn shanked his into left. And the intentional walk. Little single in the hole by Barajas, little single in the hole by Snider. And here's Scutaro. Marco 2 for 3. Takes first pitch strike.
A couple of years back when he was still playing with Oakland, Oakland won their only playoff series under Billy Beane, and Marco Scutaro was one of the big heroes in that series. They beat the Twins. Scutaro had a whale of a first round.
Sox packed with Blue Jays. 2-1 to count with 1 down. Watch out.
Scutaro gets out of the way on that high tight fastball. And no place to put him.
Make him swing the bat, Jackson. And that ball bobbled again by Alexei. This is unbelievable.
Well, he had to play at third base that time. You're not going to get two, but you're going to get the force out at third base. And Ramirez has dropped just about every ball that's come to him tonight. I've never seen him play like this.
Me either. I have never seen Alexei have a game anywhere close to this tonight.
They're ruling it a base hit, but Christmas comes early here in Chicago because he's out by plenty at third base if he just hangs on to it.
Yeah, this is for sure just one of those games for Alexei. All you can do is suck it up. Yeah, that's tough base hit right there. Tough base hit to give. And that's down into the corner by Aaron Hill. That's going to score two more. So we have just played really bad baseball tonight. Really bad. And you can't, you'd like to say, well, we had a night game last night in Baltimore, getaway day. You can't blame that because Blue Jays had a night game last night, getaway day in their own ballpark.
And they got to their hotels later than we got home, so one of those things. Just have to hope that all of this bad baseball gets out of the team system in one night. They can pound away as much as they want to at this point. As Clayton Richards start throwing in the bullpen. DJ Carrasco behind him. He was throwing.
Yeah, this is just something that you and I have not seen from Alexei Ramirez.
Nothing even resembling this.
And that's going to get another one home. So it is 12-0. And the 10th man to come to the plate, Vernon Wells, started it off with a line drive single in the center field, right center. Had a nice crowd tonight. 27,103. That breaking ball hangs high.
We knew the temperatures were going to be pretty good, especially what we're used to and what's been around town for a bit. The temperatures are great.
One ball, one strike, two out.
The wind kept that one out of the booth. Thought for a moment we were going to have a chance at a souvenir.
On point. So 2-2. Have to figure this out. Chopper. And that'll do it. Mercy. It is 12-0 Blue Jays. On Madison with hopes of putting out the Calgary Flames. And coverage starts with Chevy Blackhawks pregame live. Blackhawks Flames. Game 5 tomorrow night at 7 right here on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. Now they put a modified shift on for Jim Thome leading off here in the bottom of the 6th inning in a 12-0 Blue Jay lead. Blue Jays trying to up their record to 13-5. Well, I figured it out. Stone Pony. This is the worst game we have played since March 21st at Maryville. No. At Glendale.
To say Maryvale was Milwaukee, and that came a little bit later. I think that came out April 2nd, something like that.
At Glendale. March 21st. Two and one to count. Thome tonight has grounded to second and struck out. Called out on a pitch that was inside. And that's top foul.
There's John Mcdonald, who's checked in at shortstop. And Jose Bautista. I remember him from the Pittsburgh Pirates. He comes in defensively at third, although he's playing a straightaway shortstop in the shift.
And here's the payoff pitch to Thome. Fouls it away over into the Toronto dugout. Yeah, Gene Tennis, you were talking about Tanachi earlier.
Yes, sir.
Former teammate of mine. And
had one of the shorter strokes you'd ever seen.
Short, quick, and strong. World Series hero. And there's ball 4. I was telling Cito and a couple of the guys earlier about an instance out in Oakland. I tried to run over Tanachi at home plate.
How'd it work out for you?
Bad idea.
Pretty strong?
Well, let's just put it this way. I went about 8 feet in the air.
He got a little lower than you then.
Yeah.
You couldn't get the pads down
And he
low
came
enough.
up a little quicker. And he and I were buddies. And, you know, it was one of those things where I got close to him. I was trying to run over to score, but I didn't want to, hurt him. So what happens? After I'm lying on the ground, I look up at him and I said, Tanachi, no more. No mas. That's the last time I'm going to try that. Hard as a rock.
In 14 years, Hog, I had one professional save. I was out at Oakland. And Gene Tennis was a big part of it.
Billy Bridge high into center field. Travis Snider. Like that action from the young 21-year-old outfielder, and all this wind. He says, I'll take this one.
We had used everybody in the bullpen, and the game was tied. Can't remember what inning it was. Chuck Tanner called down to get me up. It wasn't a real good reliever, but there was nobody else. Bases loaded, 1 out. He goes walking to the mound. I thought he was going to talk to the guy, saying, you certainly don't want that guy out there in there, so get this guy out. Turned out to be Tennis and Rudy, Joe Rudy. I threw 6 straight curveballs. I know that surprises you. Struck both of them out and got my lone professional save out in Oakland.
On 6 pitches.
And Gino was one of those guys.
Here's Konerko. I'll tell you one thing about Gino was a good fastball hitter, but Joe Rudy was a good hitter. Joe was not a bad breaking ball hitter at all.
Known with my vast experience of closing down games, just figured I'd go with what I had. That was it.
There's a strike and the count 1-1. Chuck Tanner. I love Chuck.
Yeah. A lot of jobs and a lot of success, including a world championship in 1979.
Chuck's a good man. A good man. Baseball guy.
Chuck was a strong man.
Yes, he was.
When he had a point to make to you, he would come up to you and he would explain something, and he would look in your face, see if you got it, and then to punctuate what he said, he would poke you in the chest and pretty much put his finger almost through your chest.
Yeah, and he would get in your face.
There was no doubt about it.
1 on, 1 out, 1-1 the count here in the bottom of the 6th. Well, Chuck, of course, managed that ball club in Oakland. In 1976, when they set the American League record for stolen bases, they stole 341 bases.
That's good.
They had 464 attempts.
That's real good.
As that's fouled back. Billy North had 75. Bert Campaneris had 54. Don Baylor had 52. Claudell Washington had 37. Larry Lentz had 31. And on and on and on.
That was the thin Don Baylor then.
Yeah.
Because he became a power hitter later on.
Donnie was a good base stealer, base runner too. As that's out of play. So the count hangs at 1-2, but that's a lot of stolen bases, 341. And the funny thing about it, the first part of the year, Chuck told me, he says, watch what happens. He said, watch us steal some bases this year. And boy, did they ever. That's low.
They stopped by Barajas.
Paulie looking for his first hit. We have 4 of them tonight. They have 16 to go along with those 12 runs. No errors. We have no runs, those 4 hits and 2 errors. Chris Getz has 2 of the hits. Alexei has 1, and Brian Anderson has the other. ball hit hard right at Wells. That's a hang woofum right there for Konerko.
Pretty tough for any center fielder to read that ball if it's hit right at him. He doesn't know if it's going to take off or if it's going to sink. That was a sinking line drive. Vernon Wells does as good a job of running to the spot as any center fielder in the game. You see him frozen for an instant, but then he comes on, and I think that's about all that Cito Gaston can expect from Brian Talent, who did a terrific job tonight. He exits. He'll get a big hand from his team.
Well, he goes 5 2/3, giving up no runs. And we'll be back.
Party on the U.S. Cellular Field fan deck in center field. Packages include 150 game tickets, access to the fan deck for the whole game, and an all-inclusive food and drink package for the first 90 minutes of the game. Reserve the fan deck today by calling 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com for more details. So Bill Murphy comes into this one. He inherits Jim Thome at first base with 2 outs. Murphy on for the 3rd time. His ERA .450. Pitched a grand total of 2 innings this year for the big club.
And here's AJ. He has walked and he has grounded out to first. The play that Overbay made a terrific catch and throw to the pitcher.
We had a shot of Brad Arnsberg, pitching coach, congratulating Brian Talent on a job well done.
Indeed it was. Murphy, 27-year-old southpaw out of Peoria, Arizona, 5'11", 270 pounds. Attended Cal State Fullerton. Nice play by Mcdonald. And they force Thome a second. That'll do it. We'll go to the 7th. We trailed by a dozen. White Sox post-game live immediately following the game right here on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.
Jerry Owens comes into the game. Brent Lillibridge is in the game. Brian Anderson shifts to right field. And Clayton Richard comes into the game. Richard, no record, but a .432 ERA in 7 previous appearances, all of them out of the bullpen.
Those remarks that Ozzie might have tonight is just what we've been talking about. Hey, just one of those nights. Get it off the schedule and let's come get them tomorrow.
Well, not much else you can tell your ball club after a night like this.
No.
I do remember that although Earl could be very loud, Earl Weaver, when we were playing terrible baseball, we never heard a word from him. It was when we put together a good streak and then played a very bad game that he would read us the riot act. But he didn't have to tell us we were awful. We knew that.
That's usually the way it is with most good managers. That is shanked right inside.
I tell you what, it is truly amazing. I know that it seems like you have nights where you're not getting much of any luck. This is one of those nights where they've hit a lot of baseballs just inside the line. They're never foul. And here's another example of it.
That's his 3rd double. Of the evening. And that'll bring up Jose Bautista. Yeah, I've played in games like this, as you have many times. And usually you'll come in and not a word will be said. And I'm going back to the days where some managers would go locker to locker to locker. Harrelson, you can't play, you can't hit. Stone, you stink. I mean, locker everybody. But in games like this, no, they wouldn't do it. 12-0 and a little shank to the right side.
I do remember one of the most unusual games I ever played in, because at the time I believe it was the largest shutout in baseball to that point. Pittsburgh Pirates and Rennie Stennett went 7 for 7 that day. They beat a Cub team that I was on 22-0, had 25 hits, and did not hit a home run.
Wow.
We just called up kid from the minor leagues. They called down to get him ready in the 8th inning. He said, my arm's a little stiff. We just brought him up. Pittsburgh was hitting everything in sight. This guy wouldn't go in the game.
And you all say goodbye to him the next day as he went down to AAA.
I mean, it was just one of those things where I'd never seen a guy go 7 for 7 before in one game.
I haven't.
Not sure if I've seen it since.
1-1 to count to Overbay. 0 for 2 with 2 intentional walks. Fouls that one back. How managers handle certain situations throughout the course of a season up until you get to, like, if you're in the hunt I'm talking about, you get to August, mid-August, is very important. Very important. There's a little comebacker and another bad throw by first base.
Wow.
Good pick by Paulie.
I'll talk with Don Cooper about that, and some pitchers have a problem with it. Now, they've worked out Clayton Richard a lot. Sometimes every other day, giving him drills in the infield, rolling out bunts to him, letting him throw to the different bases, and yet some pitchers continue to have a problem.
You would think, though, that a Division I quarterback wouldn't have that problem.
True. Maybe got to put the pads on.
I was thinking, maybe have him throw it like a football. That ball hit deep in the left center field. It's off the wall. Lillibridge can't get there, so 1 run scores. And it's 13-0.
Barajas came an eyelash from taking one out of the ballpark, and he thought this one was gone. He went into that premature trot.
I thought it was gone, too, when he hit it.
The wind has knocked the ball down to left and left center tonight. That's the only thing kept that ball in the park. Travis Snider looks out at Clayton Richard. He's 2 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts and a couple of singles. Swings through that high fastball. And it's 0-2 with 2 outs. All Blue Jays tonight, if you're just joining us. 13 runs, 18 hits, and no errors for the Blue Jays.
They scored 3 gift runs in the first, a double play that was not turned. They scored 1 in the third. Scored 2 more in the fifth on a double play that was not turned. So the first 6 runs, 5 of them were just handed to them. Then that big 6 spot in the 6th, then 1 so far here in the 7th.
AJ couldn't find it, and he was turning circles as Wally Bell was trying to get out of his way.
Well, the guy who would like to get this game over the most.
It's probably AJ, who's been seeing a lot of balls in the dirt.
No, it's Wally Bell.
Yep, that's true. But it's a night game and it's fairly cool. Day game in the summertime, there'll be a lot of strikes called.
As well there should be. Payoff pitch. There's another instance that was, I'm not saying it was a lot of fun, but it was out of the norm in a game like this. You come to the plate in the 7th inning, umpires will tell you, Hawk, swing the bat.
We'd like to get this one over
swing the
before
bat.
dawn.
And that's ball 4. But they were telling everybody that, not just one guy. That's the 8th walk issued by our pitching tonight. And we go back to the top of the order. This time it's John Mcdonald. Scutaro was 3 for 4 with an RBI and a couple of runs scored. There's a chopper, Josh. And that'll do it. They do come up with 1. 7th inning stretch. Not good. 18-0 for the Blue Jays, 0-4-2 for our Sox. Alexei will lead it off. He's 1 for 2. Thanks. First pitch ball. Outfield straight up, spread out. And the count 2-0. Bill Murphy in relief of Brian Talent. Three and 0 the count.
One extra base hit for the Sox tonight. A double by Brian Anderson back into third. And that's ball 4. So Ramirez is aboard for the second time.
And here's Brian Anderson. A double by Brian, high off the fence in right center field.
Well, that was the inning when things turned around because the Sox loaded the bases, had an opportunity with only one out, and Talent got Tomey and Dye, and it was downhill from there.
So that's 6 in a row off the mark from Murphy. This is the first of a 3-game set and a 6-game homestand as you check out our Felco upcoming schedule. Tomorrow night, if you can't make it to the ballpark, the game will be over WGN Sunday afternoon, right back here on Comcast Sportsnet. On Monday, WCIU against Seattle in the first of that 3-game series. Mark Burley tomorrow against Brian Burris. On Sunday, Jose Contreras against Roy Halladay. And then Monday, Johnny Danks back on the bump for us against Chris Jakubowskis.
It's easy for you to say.
That's it, Chopper. Bautista with a nice little play. Ball took a funny hop on it. So 1 out. So we've got Jakubowskis, Felix Hernandez, and Eric Bedard going against us. And for us, Danks, Bartolo Colon, and Gavin Floyd.
Well, this homestand, we run into 2 surprising first-place teams. Toronto had a 2-game lead in the East, and Seattle with a 3.5-game lead in the West.
Yankees taking on the Red Sox at Fenway, bottom of the 9th, tied at 4. There's the strike. Gets. This is 2 for 3. That is average up to 356. I got a nice little Bolingbrook bounce right there. 2 down.
When you're not going well, it's one of those hops that either takes it over your head or under your glove. Because that one hit a spike mark and went right up to Lyle Overbeck. Take another look at it. Even Overbeck said, wow. This one just bounces straight up, but
perfect.
Plenty of room.
Josh looking for his first hit. He's 0 for 3. Takes ball 1. Let's get this one, write it off the schedule. Get to game number 17. Off the end of the bat, right side. Murphy right where he should be, and that'll retire the side. So we'll go to the 8th, trailing big. All right, thank you very much, Luke. Is that ball? First pitch from Clayton Richard to Aaron Hill. Looped out in the left field. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the top of the 8th inning. That'll bring up Alex Rios, that struck out, doubled, stolen a base, scored. Then he walked. Then he bounced back to the pitcher. Then he had a sacrifice fly.
Lyle Overbay is the lone Blue Jay to be held hitless tonight.
Two and 0. That's into right field. Brian. Two down. Starters, if you're just joining us: Gavin Floyd, Brian Tallett. Here's Vernon Wells. He's 2 for 4, a 2-run double in the first. Single in the 6th. He scored twice. He also has picked up a stolen base, 1 of 3 by the Blue Jays this evening. Takes it up, takes ball 2. There's the strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out.
One of those games, Hawk, where quite obviously the drama's gone out of it. And
line shot. Jerry coming on. Can't make the play. Ball gets by him. Now Wells mosey on into third base.
Well, what I was going to say was that there's some great hitters in both leagues. And what they will tell you is, regardless of the score, whether you're on the front side of a game like this or the back side of a game like this, they never have a wasted at bat. A lot of guys we've seen go up there and ground out or not bear down as much, but the great ones just keep hitting the ball hard each and every at bat, or at least try to.
Hitters have no mercy.
Well, they're going to tell you what kind of stuff you have.
They have no mercy. As here is Adam Lynn. He has 3 doubles tonight. Paulie will make that play, and that'll retire the side. So nothing across. Almost retired him in order. Meanwhile, there's still 13-0.
Club. This all-inclusive premium seating area located behind home plate features a Levy Catering pregame buffet, open bar, in-seat food, and beverage menu, plus premium reserved parking and much more. For more information, call 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com/JimBeamClub.
Jerry Owens will lead it off, takes first pitch strike. And of course, talking about Jim Beam, Future Brands, talking about Big Bob Lanigan. And also Levy Brothers Restaurants. Boy, they are good. Real good.
I'm just looking for some of those turtles.
Well, you got to talk to Ron Crown about that.
Gigantic turtles. They don't move real fast, but they taste good.
Too many carbs.
There's a few.
A few.
Eat one about now, you'll be up till 5, but they're pretty good.
Just missed him. 2-1 to count. Jim Thome on deck. And it is 3-1. And that's ball 4. The leadoff walk. Second walk issued by Murphy. And here's Thome. Big Jim 0 for 2 with a base on balls.
Big Sox fan looking on tonight, and I know even with the score like this, you're probably still watching. Mindy Kaplan loves her Sox.
Hello, Mindy. Stay with us, honey.
Hang in there. It'll get better.
That's right. And the count 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes to Thome. Trent Lillibridge, the on-deck hitter.
He went around. That was a strike and a good call by Wally Bell. Didn't need any help on that one.
Well, I wish we could blame it on the umpire, and we can't.
Not tonight.
No. Well, he missed that call, 3rd strike on Thome back in the 3rd inning, but he's been solid back there. Blue Jays are going to go to 13-5. They're going to fall to 8-8.
Kind of start you're looking for, especially when you looked at their schedule. They were the swing team in the East, meaning they have yet to see an Eastern Division opponent. And when you have the type of teams you have in the American League East, that's not a bad thing.
You know, who you play does not bother me. Never has. Because as long as you and I both have been in the game, we both realize how important, as he strikes out Thome. The biggest thing about a schedule is, for the most part, the luck of the draw in when you catch them. Do you catch them when they're hot, or do you catch them when they're cold? And that means so much throughout the course of a season.
Another factor also is there's going to be times when every team has their injuries. And if they're key injuries, and you get a chance to play them at that point, certainly can help you out.
Well, that's the same thing.
Yeah.
You catch them
Right.
when they're hot or when they're cold. Do they have injuries? Are they not playing well? I remember in 2000, our club, after that confrontation with the Tigers here, which galvanized and brought them together, that was the definitive day of that season, because after that, we had a tough stretch of games and went through them like it was nothing. Like it was nothing, because of the fact we caught them when they had some key injuries. Now, I remember back in 1983 winning ugly. We started off, played 14-26 that year, as he strikes out Lillibridge. 2 down. So everybody was down at that point, but we had a couple of guys that were banged up, and all of a sudden now we got a little bit healthy. We got on a roll. Some of the other clubs got banged up, and we went through them and won the division by 20 games, winning 99 times. So that's very important. In 05, we caught a couple of breaks, but you got to take advantage of them. Breaks will come your way. Key is taking advantage of them.
The breaks always seem to go to the team that plays well enough to hang around in the game, because we've both said it many times. Very few games are played like tonight where the opposition just beats you.
Right.
Many more times you will lose a game instead of you winning the game.
Well, for all veteran baseball watchers and players and everything, they'll tell you there are more games that are lost than are won.
And it happens, it was behind every real good team, they'll tell you the same thing. You hang around long enough and execute well enough, and that other team will make the mistake that buries them, and it's usually sometime in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning.
Two out, and a 1-1 pitch. That's why Minnesota has been such a consistent force for so many years. They beat themselves probably fewer times than anybody else in the American League.
We'll take a look at the two managers that obviously stand out of recent vintage, and that's Tom Kelly and Ron Gardner. And the fact that they stress fundamentals so much, and also with the good general managers they've had to acquire the players that fit into the scheme that the whole organization applies.
That pitch is south foul. Well, that's a great point, Steve, because of the fact that in my lifetime, in my adult sporting lifetime, the greatest winning machine year in and year out that I saw were the Boston Celtics. And they had a general manager named Red Auerbach who drafted not for the talent of the player, not for the physical talent of the player. He drafted for the player who could fit in to the system of the Boston Celtics. Celtics only had 3 players.
I was going to say, that was the thing. It was a system that everybody knew and worked to perfection.
Exactly.
I mean,
that's ball 4. Then we had 3 plays.
And Dave DeBusschere once said that everybody in the league knew exactly what the Celtics were doing, and in this one instance, they called out a play, and he ran to the spot that Havlicek was going to be before he got there, but still, they ran it so well that they still got open shots. And baseball, obviously a different type of game because more people are involved, but there's still a system. Minnesota has a system that they play, and they bring in guys that can hit and run, guys who can bunt, have a couple of guys in the middle who can hit the ball out of the ballpark, and they all fit into a team-oriented system.
That's exactly what Kenny is trying to do here. Kenny is not looking for necessarily, quote, quote, the best talent. He's looking for the guy who has certain attributes such as has an edge, wants to win, has energy, keeps his nose clean. Kenny's not asking guys to buy into what the White Sox are doing. He's telling them. And if they don't want to do that, hit the road.
Most good teams, you might get there, but if you're not going to fit in, you won't stay there long. That was the case in Atlanta, was the case in Baltimore. When you got there, they wanted to find out right away if, when it came down to the pennant race, would you be the kind of guy who was going to fit in? If you weren't, sometimes you didn't make the season.
2 on, 2 out, 1-2 the count to Corky Miller. And yet you got the other side of that page. For the majority of teams, they don't care what kind of guy you are as long as that's fouled back, as long as you put numbers up. Meanwhile, as a rule, they usually don't win. Now, the guy puts numbers up, but they don't win as a team.
Well, that's rotisserie baseball, and that's one of the things that Baltimore got away from in the old system. And the newer version of the Orioles, they got players who put up big numbers, put them together, and they didn't seem to ever fit.
Outfield straight up. Ball gets away. Oh, runners will advance. Jerry in third and Paulie in the second.
Well, you never know. 6 or 7 here, 6 or 7 the next inning. You're right back in this thing.
There's a shot caught by Bautista. Mercy, that's bad luck for Corky. Meanwhile, we'll go to the ninth.
with a big 2-run double, and that put this game out of reach. Blue Jays went up 9-0.
0-1 the count. To Jose Bautista. Takes that ball up high. 13-19-0 for their guys. No runs, 4 hits, 2 errors for our guys. That ball into left field. And it's out of here. Terry Owens got back against the wall. So that is a home run, and it's 14-0.
Earlier in the night, that ball would not have gone out. Ford home run replay, that ball on the inner portion, and Bautista, who took over defensively at third base, having an opportunity to hit one out of the ballpark.
First pitch strike to Lyle Overbay. Overbay is 0 for 3 with a couple of walks, both of those intentional, and a run scored. Let me take that back. Wally Bell is not the guy who most would like to have this game over. It's Ozzie. 1-2 the count. So 1 down.
Chris gets with a pretty solid play.
I remember we were playing a game in Baltimore one night. I was playing right field. Frank Robinson comes up. It's a line shot. And I'm running as hard as I can into the right field. And you know the gate that opened to the bullpen out there in right field with those steel posts. I hit those steel posts going as fast as I could run. I hit them. The ball just misses my glove, goes right over the fence for a home run. And I'm writhing on the ground. I thought I broke my shoulder and collarbone. Dick Williams was the manager. And they told me what he said because it was a bad game, you know. He said he stuck his head out of the dugout, looked at me writhing on the ground out there in right field, and says, drag his, you know what, into the bullpen. Let's finish this game.
He can do as well without a left fielder. They're killing us anyway.
That's right. One of those nights, if you're just tuning in, checking in, I should say. Oh, what's going on? They scored 3 in the first. They were gifts. Perfect double play ball that was not turned. Scored 1 in the third. Then they scored 2 more in the fifth to make it 6-0. But those 2 runs was another perfect double play ball that was not turned. So the first 6, 5 of them, and then it got worse. They scored 6 in the 7th. And it is now 14-0.
With 20 hits. So we knew the Blue Jays were playing pretty good baseball. Early the defense was a little generous. Gavin just didn't have any command with the fastball tonight, which was unusual.
2 down.
Corky frames it on the outside corner, or a similar facsimile thereof. Rod Barajas, who's having a long night also behind the plate, just walks back to the dugout.
Back through the middle. So Travis Snider picks up his 3rd hit. Young man came in hitting at 270, just 21 years old. Last year, Snider, with 4 different clubs, hit 25 homers and drove in 103 at the tender age of 20.
Tito Gaston thinks he's got the most power on this team.
That's into right field. Ryan is there. Can of corn, makes the catch, and that'll retire the side. They pick up 1, and we'll go to the bottom of the 9th.
Bullington getting his first shot this year. Had a couple of injuries to this pitching staff, but all the hitters are very healthy.
Man, they've got 3 starters now. Markham, Litch, and McGowan.
And Ricky Romero, who was 2-0.
4.
He went off a DL.
Forgot about him. He just went on. He was 2-0.
It's somewhat remarkable. They lose their closer also, so.
First pitch outside to Alexei, who was 1 for 2. Alexei, back in the 2nd inning, hit a high towering drive. It appeared to be out of here. He certainly hit it well enough, but that wind just knocked it straight down. That wind has been howling all game long.
That curveball was biting.
They thought he held it up. Marty Foster said, let's get this thing over.
Well, he went through that.
He went, sure he did.
I mean, that was even if it's not 14-0, he still swung at that.
Oh yeah. Well, he said, grab some bench. Let's get this thing over. Ryan, 1 for 3. That one hit a double leading off the 3rd inning. That was the best chance. Now, we've stranded 10 guys in this game, but back in the 3rd, he let it off with a double. Then Chris Getz singled. Ryan held at 3rd, and we couldn't get anybody in.
Bases loaded, and just 1 out. Nikitomi at bat, ground ball by Dye, and that was the closest thing we've come to a rally.
He did not go, says Marty. So 2-2. Tomorrow night, once again, a reminder, game 2 of this 3-game set and game 2 of the 6-game homestand, Mark Burley against Brian Burris. Can't make it to the ballpark. That game will be over WGN. And on Sunday afternoon, Jose Contreras against Roy Halladay. And that game right back here on Comcast Sportsnet. Good eye, good take. Full count. Then Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, the Mariners come to town before we take off to go on another road trip for 5 days. 3 in Texas and 2 in Kansas City.
You can see that Mariner team cool down somewhat because offensively they've been good and they're getting terrific pitching.
That's looped out into short right center field. That's going to fall for a base hit. That's our first hit since the 4th inning. So that'll bring up Chris Getz.
Ryan gets just enough of it to go 2 for 4 tonight.
Chris 2 for 4, 2 singles, his first 2 at bats. Takes ball 1. And that's popped up in the left field. Snider, 2 down. So we're down to our last out, and Josh Fields looking for his first hit. He's 0 for 4. There it is for Josh. Attaboy. Get on the board. Make that ride home a little more palatable. And that'll bring up Jerry Owens. Jerry's been to the plate 1 time and walked. First pitch strike. Also a reminder, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, the Mariners, and there are plenty of good seats available for that series. Some good pitching matchups, too. That's off the plate. Get a base hit, let's score a run. Let's don't get shut out. Hate to get shut out. And the count 2-1 with Tommy on deck.
Were you ever on a team that did not get shut out for a full season?
Not that I can recall.
That 77 team with the Southside Hitmen, we got shut out first week of September for the first time all year. Ralph Garr led off with a triple against Nolan Ryan. Led off the game with a triple. Stayed right there. First time we got shut out, I think something like September 4th of that season.
Yeah, I don't ever think I played on a club that didn't get shut out. There's the strike, and the count goes full. So 2 on, 2 out, 3 balls, 2 strikes here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Ralph Garr.
The Gator.
Payoff pitch. Just foul.
It's nice. Make a young fan very happy. Get a souvenir. He stayed late. Persistence pays off.
And he brought his glove.
You always have to bring your glove.
You got to bring your glove to the ballpark. And that's ball 4. That'll load him up. That's the 7th walk issued by Toronto pitching. We walked 8 tonight. So 15 walks in this ball game.
That's why it's moved along so well.
Just, I mean, you know, when you're having fun, time goes fly.
It just flies by.
Jimmy looking for his first hit. He's 0 for 3 with a base on balls. Takes the first pitch strike. Outfield there straight up. Billington with a nice breaking ball. He had a fighter. A yacker.
A back upper. But it was effective.
Up high. And that'll do it. Mercifully, this game is over. 14-0 Toronto. And right now, let's check out our Lexus Pursuing Perfection player of the game. It is the 31-year-old southpaw Brian Talent picking up his first victory of the season. Our Lexus Pursuing Perfection player of the game. So for my partner, Steve Stone. For our producer, the mayor, Mean Joe Groove. Our director, John Wall.